then you have the first one may be long and heavy, the second one may be short and light, the third one may be again short and light. That's one cluster. Another cluster would be, the first one may be heavy, the second one may be light, and the third one may be heavy. That's another cluster. And there is the cluster in which one is first light, then heavy, then light. Or it can be first light, then heavy. Or it can be first light, then heavy, then light, then heavy, then light, like that. And there is the one that is heavy, heavy, heavy. Light, light, light. And then, so you have to have a succession of these clusters. And these are defined in the books of poetry. That such and such meter has a succession of particular clusters or ganas. And you have to follow this. So it is very difficult to compose. So Srila Rupa Goswami was very astute at composition. So he continued in his journey. He continued on, and he arrived in Bengal. Many things happened along the way. So many things. They couldn't find Sanatan. And then Anupam got sick and he actually left his body. Then Rupa had to counsel the entire family. Then he had to deal with small jiva who wanted to follow him and give up the family. So all these things happened. But in the heart of Rupa Goswami, his mind was fixed. And of course the family didn't want him to go. They wanted him to stay. But he carried on. He left Bengal alone and he started walking towards Jagannath Puri. So Rupa Goswami kept going. He kept going. It is said here, he was thinking about the actions of the drama. And as he was thinking in this way, he was very absorbed. Then he left Bengal, what we know as Bengal today, and he entered in the province of Orissa. Then you must all have heard of this story, that actually one day, it was the end of the day, he was walking, he had to stop somewhere, and he stopped in a place called Satyabhamapur, a village. And there he took rest. Uriya deshe Satyabhamapur name grama, ekaratri sei grame karila vishrama. In the province of Orissa, there is a place known as Satyabhamapur. Srila Rupa Goswami rested for Ekaratre, for one night in that village, on his way for Jagannath Puri. Then what happened to him? Ratre means in the middle of the night, swapna dekhe, he had a dream. Ratre swapne dekhe eka divya rupa nari, sammukhe asya agnya dhila bahu kripa kari. So what happened to him? He was sleeping. And in his dream, suddenly he saw divya rupa nari. He saw a lady with a very divine form, very opulently dressed, beautiful, with ornaments, and a moon-like face, a golden face, so very beautiful. While residing in Satyabhamapur, he dreamed that a celestial, beautiful woman came before him. And he felt then that person had so much compassion for him, so much affection for him. And that person actually gave him an order. What was the order? Amaranataka prita karaharachana Amara kripate nataka haibe vilakshana. The lady said, "Oh Rupa, write a separate drama about me." Then she added, "By my mercy, it will be extraordinarily beautiful." Rupa Goswami woke up. It's like, what was this? Who was this? Who was this person? Initially he was wondering, and then he realized that this was Satyabhama Rani, the queen of Lord Krishna. As we know, she's an expansion of Srimati Radharani. So he understood, what he understood from this order, write a separate drama about me. He understood that he has to write a separate drama. And what did that mean? Actually what that meant is that she was instructing him to separate the Vraja Leela and the Leela outside of Vrindavan. Because they really have a different mood. Vrindavan Dham is the place of Madhurya Rasa, in complete freedom from Aishwarya. Whereas Dwarka is also the place of Madhurya Rasa, but the queens have a different mood from the mood of the gopis. We know the gopis are ready to go to hell, they are ready to give the powder from their feet if that can cure or relieve Krishna's headache. Queens of Dwarka are not ready. They cannot do it. Why? Because of their mood towards Krishna. They consider themselves inferior to him in the sense they are his wives. How can the wife put her feet on the head of the husband? Not possible. So there is a great difference, even though the leelas of the queens and Krishna are also very, very sweet. But that sweetness goes to a certain point. And then there is a little change. So he said here, Rajapura lila ekatra kariyachi gatana dui bhaga kari ehe kari murachana. So this is what he understood. I have brought together in one work all the pastimes performed by Lord Krishna in Vrindavan and in Dwarka. Now I shall have to divide them into 2 dramas. So that was his understanding. So in this way, walking, he finally arrived in Jagannath Puri. And when he arrived there, as we know, one of the qualities, the most prominent quality of Srila Rupa Goswami that was so dear to Lord Chaitanya was his humility. Later on, Lord Chaitanya will say that, yes, I bestowed my mercy upon him because he's so humble. And so when he arrived in Jagannath Puri, he did not go to see Lord Chaitanya immediately. And he did not consider himself an associate of Lord Chaitanya. He went to stay with Haridas Thakur, who had a background as a Mohammedan. And Rupa Goswami considered himself also to be coming from that background, although truly he was a pure Vaishnava. So he went to stay with him. And Lord Chaitanya used to visit Haridas every day. So the next day, Lord Chaitanya arrived on his way to taking bath. And he met Rupa Goswami. He was accompanied by Nityananda, Advaita. And he requested Lord Nityananda and Lord Advaita, please bless Rupa. What was the blessing? You bless him so that he can convey the message of Krishna Bhakti. So Rupa Goswami was blessed to actually write. He was blessed to write. Then another time, Mahaprabhu came by and he saw Rupa Goswami was sitting and he was writing. So he came and he said, what are you doing? What are you writing? What is it? What are you writing? And he snatched the palm leaf from him and he looked at it and he commented, oh, your handwriting looks like a row of pearls. So not only he wrote proficiently with lots of knowledge, but he also had a nice handwriting. He had a very nice handwriting. Let me see whether this is here. I'm not finding exactly that way, but he said that his writing is just like a row of pearls. And then he started reading the verse. And that verse was very, very particular. Rupa Goswami, this was a verse from the drama, the Vidagdha Madhava, which will become the first part of the drama. And it was spoken by Purnamasi. So, and it was in fact a glorification of the holy name. The verse went like this. Tunde thanna vinhiratim vitanute tundavali laptaye karna kroda kadambini ghatayate karna udebhya spriham Cheta bhangana sangini jayate sarvendriyanam krute no jane janita kiya dhiramritai Krishna iti varna dvayi Krishna iti varna dvayi. These two syllables, he says, I do not know how much nectar the two syllables Krishna have produced. When the holy name of Krishna is chanted, it appears to dance within the mouth, within desire, many, many mouths. When that name enters the holes of the ears, we desire many millions of ears. And when the holy name dances in the courtyard of the heart, it conquers the activities of the mind, and therefore all the senses become inert. This is for one who chants the holy name of the Lord in bhava or prema. Upon hearing this verse, Lord Chaitanya became ecstatic. And Rupa himself, they asked him to read. And when Haridas heard the verse, he started rolling on the ground. They were exhibiting such ecstatic symptoms by hearing the glories of the holy name, written, expressed by Srila Rupa Goswami. So in this way there were many exchanges. Rupa Goswami stayed. Every day he would write. Every day Lord Chaitanya would come. They would get Jagannath Mahaprasadam. They would take bath in the sea. And the Ratha Yatra period came. All the devotees came from Bengal and then they left. Rupa Goswami did not leave. He stayed for a total of 10 months in Jagannath Puri. And during that time, Lord Chaitanya would visit, and Swarup Damodar would come, and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya would come. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya himself, such a great scholar and also a writer of rasa and of drama. So they would test Rupa Goswami. Please read Let us see what you have written. And then they would test whether the grammar is correct, whether the meaning is coming out. And in this way, Rupa Goswami was reciting verse after verse after verse after verse, until one day they said, "Oh, you write so nicely. You must have, why don't you compose a glorification of the Supreme Lord?" And Rupa Goswami, they asked, actually, Mahaprabhu asked, have you written like a wonderful glorification of the Lord? And Rupa Goswami was looking down. He was looking down. He was very shy. That was part of his nature. He was very, very, very shy. So, finally, he agreed to recite his glorification of the Supreme Lord. And that glorification was the second verse of the Mangala-charana of the Vidagdha Madhava. So this is what he said. And it owed him a great chastisement from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because instead of glorifying Krishna in Vrindavan, he revealed who is the Lord of his heart. And who was that? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is non-different from Radha and Krishna. So this is, you know this verse, this is very famous. Anarpita charin chirat karunaya vatirna kalau samarpayitu munnato jvalarasam svabhakti shriyam hari purata sundara tyutika damba sandipita sada hridaya kandare spuratu Shachinandana. May you, the Supreme Lord, who is known as the son of Sachi Devi, be transcendently situated in the innermost core of our heart. Resplendent with the radiance of molten gold, you have descended in this age of Kali by your causeless mercy to bestow what no other incarnation has ever offered before, the most elevated mellow of devotional service, the mellow of conjugal love. Swarup Damodar said, "Well said! What you have proclaimed is right." Mahaprabhu said, "What is this?" Sarvabhauma Acharya said, "Your poetic ability is wonderful and beyond compare. You have adequately glorified our Lord. All glory is unto you." Mahaprabhu said, "Simply an exaggerated explanation. I do not approve of this verse." Your exalted poetic descriptions of the mellows of Lord Krishna's pastimes are like an ocean of nectar. But why have you put in a false prayer about me? It is like a drop of detestable alkali. Some salt in the sweet rice. Ramananda Roy said, "It is not alkali at all. It is a particle of camphor he has put into the nectar of his exalted poetic expression." Mahaprabhu said, "My dear Ramananda Roy, you are jubilant at hearing these poetic expressions, but I am ashamed to hear them. For people in general will joke about the subject of this verse." Ramananda Rai said, "Instead of joking, people in general will feel great pleasure, for the initial remembrance of the worshipable deity invokes good fortune." But Mahaprabhu was very angry and he said, "But I am not that worshipable deity." So in this way they went back and forth. And finally the Lord became pacified and accepted the praise. So this was going on day after day until 10 months. And then came the end, and one day Mahaprabhu told him, "How long have you been staying here?" Rupa Goswami started trembling. Because the Lord came and asked, how long have you been here in Puri? Though he understood, that's the end. And so very soon he was on his way to Vrindavan Dham, writing. He was a wandering writer. And he went back to Vrindavan to never leave again. And it is said that he completed the Vidagdha Madhava in 1546. And later on, in 1532, he completed the Lalita Madhava. Srila Rupa Goswami ki jai. Hare Krishna. Okay.